I make three things perfectly clear before I share. The first one is I thank the God of my understanding for saving us all from death and giving us life in this program called Narcotics Anonymous, and I'm not talking about a physical death. Secondly, I thank the God of my understanding for everybody in this room being of service to God and our fellowship. To a newcomer, I just mean by showing up. Thirdly, I'm very adamant about this. There's no difference between me sitting here and you sitting there. I'm an addict. I've just been asked to share my experience with nothing hoping. My experience with recovery, you too will be asked to do the same thing. It's called freely giving back what was freely given to you. And the service committee of this convention, Lafayette, I want to thank you for being you. I also want to thank your sponsor for being a sponsor. And to have that much clean time and still talk about a sponsor and that much reverence is beautiful, man. You know, it's kind of segueing into the topic they gave me, and not indirectly, but I mean not directly, but indirectly. And my topic is our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. And for me, I need to start in the beginning to make it clear on how I came to learn the traditions or implement the traditions in my life. I came in here with a false ego, and let me even go further than that. I came in Narcotics Anonymous in 1980. I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous in 1986. I missed a two-letter word as a result of just jerking around in narcotics in the rehab program that I went through for 28 days. That two-letter word was we. And I left that rehab, and I went at home, and I wasn't going to deal with you, but I heard about the H through H and I and A and everything like that, and I didn't think it was me. I didn't think it was for me. And maybe about 10 days, I went back out, and as a result of going back out, I stayed out there for 2.5 more years, and finally got an opportunity to come back into the fellowship in 1989. In 1989, I was thoroughly whipped, beaten, and I had all the experience that our literature talks about, the dereliction, the degradation, the animalistic levels. I had all that experience, you know what I mean? And you know, now that we started making sense to me, you know, I needed somebody to help me. But when I got into the fellowship and when I started making meetings, it wasn't what I heard that made me want to be a part of the fellowship. It was what I saw. I saw this program working in other people's lives before it started working in mine. You know, most people that I know know me in my area will tell you that I fell in love with some guy's socks when I came to Narcotics Anonymous. And, you know, May 23rd, 1989, and it was like what I saw. He had on a pair of beautiful pinkish combination Argyle socks, and just lit me up because socks wasn't important to me in my active addiction. Finding ways and means was important to me in Narcotics Anonymous. So, you know, getting here, and I found out that I was still accepted. That we accepted me in the program, and they accepted me in the home group that I chose, and the atmosphere that I fellowship. I started to feel good about myself, and then, you know, the character that I had on the street was never addressed, and you know, I was here under pretenses that I'm lying, I'm important. I have to lie, you know what I mean, to get the acceptance that I wanted people to relate to me with. So, you know, in the fellowship, I couldn't be myself. I was competing with those that had the pretty socks. I was competing with those that had the haircuts and stuff like that. I was competing with those who had the verbiage of the Narcotics Anonymous program, and I was sitting down and I was fighting inferiority and their superiority all along in the beginning. You know, I didn't feel comfortable as a result of just coming into the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, because I know my background. My background was garbage, and although I heard other people talking about how their background was garbage, it wasn't as nasty as mine. You know, so I saw differences instead of similarities. And as a result of seeing those differences, I started to have to make stuff up to feel a part of the fellowship in Narcotics Anonymous. And they started encouraging me, you know, that they saw that there was something that I just needed to adjust to. You know, and I'm talking about our public relations policy is based on attraction You know what I mean? What did I have? My first sponsor told me, said, yes, you got to stop being so attracted by other people and start making people attracted to you. And as a result of hearing that, I started doing things. Like I would come in and I'd put chairs up, still put chairs up 36 years later. I pick up cigarette butts, still do that if I have to. Sweep up, shovel, the whole 9 yards. And it's based on a lot of things that I've learned over a period of time of being in the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous about traditions, about fellowship relationships. It is not me that represents Narcotics Anonymous. Our public relations policy has been established way before I got here. It's been established by people that had learned how to shut down their ego, and really not try to pick up the ego, but express some spiritual principles in their lives that made them just regular people in the atmosphere of narcotics. And I don't know about you, but I wanted to be a convention speaker with 1 year clean. You know, but the only thing I wouldn't study the literature. I would just think that something's supposed to come out of me and I'm supposed to be able to be picked, you know, and it was like, I looked at all of the wrong things about what kind of character would be attractive to other people. I thought it was my exterior. I had to get some clothes, you know. I remember having 3 guys that I thought I had because I wanted one that would co-sign anything I did, and if he let me get a new shirt so I can impress the girls and anybody else that was in the fellowship. And then I had another guy that I chose. I'm talking about having the wrong concept of who God is. And I chose another guy that would, you know, like I can manipulate. If you let me get a job, I'll save my money and I won't use and this, that, and the other. Wrong guy. And as a result of being around the fellowship, I started having a connection with a God of my understanding that made me say, that told me I'm okay just like I am. That you're going to evolve in this fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. And a sponsor who encouraged me to just relax. Just come to the meeting and be genuine. Not the fake stuff. Because I found out that there was a lot of ways to be in Narcotics Anonymous. The first one was fuck everything and recover. Second one was face everything and recover. The second one was fuck everything and run. And I got in touch with the third one was fake everything and relapse. You ever get in touch with that? I know I'm faking. You don't know that I'm faking, but I know I'm faking. I'm telling people I got 3 cars in Philadelphia. I ain't got 1 car. But I live in Chester County. I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying my best to fit in, you know, by any means necessary. And all I had to do was relax. Our public relations policy is based on attraction. My attraction to the public is not based on what I say. It's about what I'm doing. It's how I'm living. And it took me a long time to understand that. It was important for me to just like dummy down the competition of being in the fellowship. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Compete with somebody that you think you have to compete with. Public relations, man, is based on attraction. The attraction. What can I do to be attractive to the public? And then it was my humility. You know, I'm not walking around on Kensington Avenue spouting my recovery, my clean time. I'm just simply offering it to anybody that wants it. This program is for those that want it. It says that in our literature. I want to read something that I find that is important for me to implement in my life. And this may not be for you, but it's definitely for me. And what it says is our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. When we say this is a program for people who want it and not people who need it, this relationship extends into our relationship with society. There are many addicts in society who desperately need recovery, and it would be wonderful if we could bottle this up, package it, and sell it to them. However, recovery is not a tangible thing. It is instead a spiritual experience, an awakening, a surrender, and an acceptance of spiritual principles in our lives. I just want to stop there. I needed to know that there was something about when we talking about our spiritual principles that could work magic as far as doing some things. That instead of preaching, instead of talking, it was some things, the way I act, my compassion, my empathy, my love for somebody, all the spiritual principles that we are given as a result of fellowship in this program, that we need to implement in our lives in order to attract another person to this fellowship, and to let social media know, or social media, or thus media in general, that it's not an individual that represents Narcotics Anonymous. It's not. I mean, let me say this: public relations, and I wouldn't go to anything that was dealing with public media and act like Narcotics Anonymous is my gift to the world. I don't care how many basic texts I read and how long I read them, or how I can. Let me say this for you: I can mentally masturbate some literature so that I can verbally ejaculate some shit on the floor. You understand what I'm saying? I found that was my personality early on recovery, because I'm not looking at the blessing of the program. I'm looking at competition. I'm looking at the difference. I'm not saying that we're here to do the same thing for everybody. You know what I mean? If I cannot redirect you to somebody that is oh my gosh, listen. We're talking about being a vision of hope. You know, when we get to that part, it's not about where, you know, I got the opportunity, and we were talking about this, like, I got the opportunity to get the houses, the cars, and the shit like that, and that's all good. If I stop using that, comes naturally. But to be a vision of hope is a total different experience that you have to work for to get. Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I want to be a sugar daddy. I'm serious. I got the finances that I can do that. But that shuts down me being a vision of hope that somebody that might be out there looking for this program to help them. To get their ass out the water, the mud, the muck, and the mire, and here I am trying to. And then I justify by saying maybe I don't want nobody that I have to. That is very just somebody that is not capable of taking care of everything that they got going on. And I change up on that because I really want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Does that make sense? Yes. I really want to justify and say I'm helping this woman get her kids through school. Get her nails done. You know what I mean? Big Daddy. You know, and then I want to go to the press, radio, and film and tell them that this is what I'm doing. I'm not a sugar daddy. I'm just helping her through school. You know, and if I had the opportunity to do that through press, radio, and film, it would work. It would work. It could work. But it's not what I'm talking about. You know, after being here so long, our literature talks that the member with substantial clean time can develop a way of just expressing the program of Narcotics Anonymous without saying a word. Those who are around for a period of time will not be up there blabbing a whole lot of stuff about the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. It will be our posture in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting that is attractive to somebody. You know what I mean? Because a pair of lips will say anything. Action. In my home group, I sit in the same seat. Don't have to. It's not. I have the most clean time in my home group, and they treat me like I have the less clean time. But I'm okay with it because I want them. I'm not trying to suppress them with my clean time. I want them to just come and be as part as they can. It's just so much love that I've learned through the spiritual principles. I found out that the spiritual principles, for me, is a higher sense of intelligence. Implementing these things like caring, sharing, open-mindedness, willingness, three indispensable. Those are a higher level of intellect. And I need to implement them more so than I need to implement what car I drive. How many girls I got? I hope I'm making sense. Because this is what Narcotics Anonymous is talking about. This is Narcotics Anonymous talking about having a spirit that is so inviting that you know, it's not coming out of your mouth, it's coming from your heart. You're teaching your heart how to speak, not your mouth. Unconditional love. You know what I mean? I say funny stuff too when I share. If somebody walked in there with 3 dicks on their head, I would get up and hug that dickhead. If nobody else did. And I'm talking about the spirit of just unconditional love. You don't have to come in there like I did, but in the beginning I thought that was what it was about. I have to develop my way of communicating. I'm not talking about talking the talk. I'm talking about walking the walk. After having had a spiritual awakening, after implementing some things in your life, knowing that there is a God that is giving you what you think you got differently from somebody else. Helping you find your niche for carrying this message. Even in the face of press, radio, and film. Humility, spiritual principle that is intelligent for me to say. When I get around, if I had the opportunity to be around the media and it was something, I couldn't say, listen, I fellowship with the Narcotics Anonymous program, and I've helped a lot of recovering addicts, and I've done this, that, and the other. See, we're talking about how we kind of get in touch with. It's not the I that's important in the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. It's the we of the program. And if I can't apply some humility to let this program or let press, radio, and film know how big this is, then I'm still fucking with ego. It's Yancey's program. It's Michael's program. It's my beloved. It says in our literature, man, that an addict with 2 days. What is that? An addict with 2 days telling an addict with 1 day that if you stay by yourself, you in bad company. So the we is not something that you got to accept that initially when coming into the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. But sometimes it's not that easy. Am I making sense? You know, I'm trying to emphasize a vision of hope. We used to say that all the time. Are you a vision of hope? You a vision of hope? And what is the vision? Your car? I know a lot of people just ask me to sponsor them just because of my name. Yancy. Do you really want to be sponsored? And carrying yourself consistently is important. Doing things consistently. I found that is another aspect of how intelligence. Doing something on purpose that is representative of a character that you feel good about. Not something you do just because somebody's looking, or on Wednesday night when you're in your home group. This stuff goes out of the home group. It goes to society at large. This stuff is just you. It's not put together because of the situation. This is who you are. I say to people now, I love and need you. Because I still know that about me. I hug you, I love you, and I need you. I don't care how much time you got. or how long we've known each other. It's important for me to know that you are still important in my life, which gives me the humility that I need, and it shuts down my nasty attempt to try to be more than I am in the face of press, radio, and films. My attraction is not coming from my mouth, and I hope, and let me say this, I may be able to attract you with verbiage, but I just feel good about the vision that I have. No, I tell you guys about me wanting to be a sugar daddy, but I don't walk up to women and say, you need a sugar daddy? I don't do that, but I say it because it's fit. I feel it. I don't look at the individual. And how would you like me to pay your rent? I be thinking it and I share it. Or you go up to somebody and you go like this. Hey, dog, how you doing? Because that's not real. That's just something I have been blessed with, and it can be taken away from me if I don't know how to use it right. I feel that way. I don't know about you, but I feel that way. If I don't look like I'm working for the God of my understanding, and that's the point. I told you I had 3 of them. The one that I got now is the one I'm working for. And if anything, between me, press, radio, and film, it'll be let you know that there's a program called Narcotics Anonymous, and each of us has an individual guys that make this program work for everybody that wants this program. Just that simple. Just that simple. And to get that across, and you get these times when people think, oh, Yancey can tell you what page this is on, and this, that, and the other. And Lafayette can do the same thing, and Ruben can do the same thing, and Mike and Martin, Ed can do the same thing. That was supposed to get deep with you. We ain't in competition. And especially in the face of press, radio, and film. And again, it is more important to get a perspective on life. We say it all the time, gratitude, serenity, set the things again. Today I'm going to try to get a better perspective on my life. And that perspective is critiquing yourself, not waiting for somebody to tell you that your ego is walking in the door before you. You know what I mean? Or that grandiose mentality that you have, or your humility is lacking. We do an inventory on ourselves, attempts to keep from running into that stuff. You will know way ahead of the time before you get to press, radio, and film that something is about your ego is not conducive to even being around press, radio, and film. Because you still think that am I making sense? You still think that you are a See, the I of the program, when I talk about I, me, my, is about my personality. It's about my character. The we of the program is about the principles. I'm trying my best to figure out how to reflect principles and how to reflect principles before I get into personality. I don't want to be sitting here thinking about, there's so much I want to say. But the words sometimes bother me. Not only because I feel like I'm the only one that knows this, or I'm the only one that gets it this way, and that I may be wrong. And I'm kind of like fighting, opening my mind. But this is what I need to go through in order to be where I get. I feel as though I'm working for the God of my understanding now. I feel like everything I do is for the God of my understanding. And I'm not perfect. Not looking for perfection. I'm looking for the ability to be real in the fellowship. And I heard Martin talk about feel, deal, and heal. There's a fourth one. Feel, deal, heal. But first, you got to be real about what's going on. You know yourself better than anybody else. I can sit here and give you some stuff that sounds real fly and walk out the door and I don't believe half of the shit I say. But when you believe what you I don't want to say practice what you preach. When you ain't preaching, you feeling. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm feeling things that I don't need to say. When you sitting there going through whatever you may be going through, I'm praying for you. Not in a sense that it's like biblical or anything like that. I'm praying in my spirit as I'm listening to you. I'm utilizing that opportunity to feel good about what I'm doing. So I want to say that, you know, the 11 tradition is you know, it's kind of self-explanatory. This program is not an individual's, it's not yours. We have to be an attraction to those that are yet to come. Any way that you can possibly be an attraction to that. You know, I was in New York at the New York convention at Impossible Dream Recovery. And I was walking out of the Hilton Hotel where the convention was held, and I stopped smoking 35 years ago. And you know how people, when they smoke, they sit right outside. You ever had that experience? And we had the convention. Narcotics Anonymous had the convention there, but there were other people that were coming from wherever they were coming from, had to walk through all of this smoke. Cigarettes, cigars. Was blocking, like, you know, not making it so you couldn't get it, but it was just a picture that I looked at and I said, this is not a good look. And not because they were smoking, it was just because there wasn't no concern for other people. And what we do when we have a spiritual awakening is once we have a certain amount of comfort for ourselves, we develop an increased concern for other people. And, you know, with that being said, you want me to tell you a joke? About perspective. This guy lost his arm in a motorcycle accident. He was going to kill himself because he didn't want to live with one arm. And good. I'm good. He didn't want to live because he wanted to die because he lost his arm in a motorcycle accident. And he went to the bar to drink himself and get enough courage to kill himself. It's about perspective. And he went to the bar and he kept pouring them drinks. The bartender kept pouring them drinks. And he looked down the bar and by the jukebox, it was a guy over there with no arms, jumping up and down, having the ball. And he said, I'm getting ready to kill myself because I lost one arm. And here this guy over here with one arm, with no arms, having the ball by the jukebox. He said, I wonder how he's doing. He said, go ask the bartender. He said, how's he doing? He said, I don't know. Why don't you go ask him? He said, okay, pour me one more drink. He poured him one more drink. And he said, I'm going to go down there and ask him. And he went down there and asked him. He said, hey, man, I'm about to kill myself because I lost one arm in a motorcycle accident. how come you over here having a ball with Norms? He says, man, I'm not having a ball. I'm trying to scratch my ass. So, you know what I'm talking about? He's going to kill himself because he has lost Noah. The thing is that you can continue to get a better perspective on your life, and you won't have to worry about it. Steve, I love you, man. Thanks for letting me share.